Hey guys, Mike here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. So I thought we'd do a little recap. You know what? Since I have 6 trucks now and everybody's wondering, Mike, what are you gonna do to this? When are you gonna do to that? So I just thought I would give you a quick breakdown as to what we have and what the plans are. Of course, the first truck is Kenny, and I don't know why that door is open. Maybe because I opened the other door and slammed it. But so Kenny got a polish. There's nothing in there except the heater. So Kenny's polished up. I got him sitting here. My plan is still to find a back end for Kenny. I don't know that I'm going to stretch him real long, but I mean, these diffs are still toast. So he's not going to stay super short. And the engine is running and it works for playing around town, but it still needs a little bit of work. But you know what? I can jump in this truck. I can go to town with no issues. So this summer, I don't think I'm going to do much to Kenny. I don't think, but in reality, it all comes down to parts, because it's all about what you can get for parts and when, because we're on a budget, and at the end of the day, it's finding the pieces, and when opportunity is knocking, you got to answer the door. And if we look over here, we've got the other K100s. This is Smokey. Smokey is the latest acquisition as far as K100s. Now Smokey has a 60 series in him. He's a 430 horse. He looks great with the red stripe on it. I love it. But if you're new to the channel, you'll notice Smokey has an issue. Smokey's burnt. And I'm, you know, stuck between low and slow. But when we look at Smokey, he's got a 13-speed. Transmission is good. If we look at the frame looks good. There's a little bit of rust jacking on the back because it is inserted, but it's to be expected. That's something we can deal with at a later date. He's got 3.55 ratio, so he's great for making him a low pro highway truck where I come from. So that's what we're gonna do. And I just realized he's got 11 R24 5s on the back. And I totally thought he had 22s. Huh. So Dad was right. I can't believe that. Why did I think he had 22s? Maybe he's got 22s on the front. Are there 22s on the front? Nope, those are 24 5s too. Well, shiver my timbers. Well, that just made my job much easier. I can't believe I didn't notice that. I swore it had 22 5s. Huh. Anyways, you know what? I guess I just wasn't paying attention. But that's great, because you know what I can use those wheels and tires for? I can use them for Duke Kaboom. But anyways, he's got longer studs. So my plan with this truck is to put 22 5s on, low pros. It's already got long studs, so it can take aluminum wheels. Undecided about taking the rear fairing off. I pulled it off on this side because I had to take it off on the other side. I like being able to see the pipes, so I'd kind of like to leave them off. But you know, a lot of y'all out there, you've said, you know, leave them on because it makes the cab look bigger, which it totally does. But if the stack was there and you had a nice straight pipe or something, that would look good. And ultimately, once I get the engine going and tidied up, I'd like to move those fuel tanks right forward, because I think I like that look. I want there to be lots of frame showing here. So, but I've gutted the interior. So my plan is to fix the roof cap first so it doesn't leak, fix the burnt portion. I'm not even going to worry about the interior right away, because once I got it sealed up so the water and the bodywork is okay, then we're going to get the engine running. And I'm thinking what I'm probably going to do is rebuild this one. I got a price on a rebuild kit. It's not terrible, which is good. And Series 60 is an affordable engine to rebuild, which is great. And it needs an injector because that's what started it all. It started smoking, and I think what happened is it dropped an injector tip. But one of the things I'm going to do next, after I finish cleaning up the interior, because that's a huge job, is I want to tip the cab forward. I want to pull the valve cover off, take a peek in the engine, and just see what the liner looks like. You know, it's got 1.2 million on it. It's a lot of K, but not terrible, unless it's 2.2. I really don't know. I mean, I would download it if I could get it to the shop. But you never know. We might be able to just put an injector in it and run it and drive it, but we'll have to inspect the engine first, because if it did drop an injector tip or if it smacked a valve or whatever, you know, that's where we really gotta, you know, do our homework. So that's on the list of things to do. And I really want to get Smokey running and driving again, because he is an electronic truck. He's a 94, so the electronic trucks, they just drive really nice. So and you know what, with the stretched out frame and the Pilot Hub wheels, yeah, just get a set of aluminums, some nice highway tires. Imagine that with a 22.5 low pro on there to set that front end down a little bit. But like right now with 355s, this thing must just haul butt. Like, I bet you it makes miles. Probably gets good fuel economy too. So, but and it's already low to the ground. I can't imagine it with 22s. Well, I can't imagine it with 22s, and it's going to look wicked, because imagine that bumper 2 inches lower. Now this bumper is damaged, so it will have to get replaced one of these days. It was dented, so it's got a crack right there. But for now, she's good until we get the paint job done on it, because that, you know, when we fix the bodywork, this is a great candidate for a paint job. You know, the chrome is in pretty darn good shape. A few rust spots, but not bad. So overall, there's a lot of potential here, aside from the amount of work on the interior. But you know what? Rome wasn't built in a day. And then we've got Low and Slow, my good old workhorse. You know, my plans for Low and Slow, you can see I've got a fuel tank here. This is a peat fuel tank that I picked up from work. It's used. It's got a little bit of a dent right there. You know, there's a little dent there and a mark. But I don't think it'll be that noticeable. My plan is to put this on here, and why I want it for Low and Slow is this is a Western Star fuel tank, and the filler's under the deck, and it's not what it came with. This truck originally came with this size tank where the filler would be right here, just like on the other side. And the beauty of that is then you can crack the filler, look in the hole, you can see what you have for fuel, and it's symmetrical, and it's a peat tank. This is a Western Star tank. It's not that old, so my plan is to take that off. I'll sell it, and we're gonna put this one, polish it up, and then it's OEM correct. Gonna get aluminum wheels for the front. I actually have some aluminum wheels in the shop, but I don't have the long studs. That's the only reason why he doesn't have aluminum wheels yet. It's because I got to pull the wheels off. I got to knock a stud out, take it to work, match it up, because the part numbers, I don't know, not matching up easily. So we probably have studs at work. I just have to do it. I also want to get him redeckled, and of course we put the window in him, and I did straighten these dents out pretty darn good, I thought. When he gets a paint job one day, then we'll do the body work, you know, use a little bit of filler. But Low and Slow has just been a great truck to take out of town. He needs a bath right now, and he's dirty from our last trip, but man, what a workhorse. Yeah, I got to show him a little bit of love. I'm going to fix the interior. I'm going to do it myself. I like the tan interior in Low and Slow, so I'm going to give it my handiwork to finish above the driver's compartment, because the sleeper part's in great shape. So excuse me. And then we've got K2. Good old K2. Poor K2 hasn't been getting a lot of love on the channel these days. What I really like about K2 is the body's in good shape. The door opens and closes better than Kenny. I've got my water absorber in here. And when I open the door, it doesn't smell in here. But look at the interior. The interior looks really, really good. I don't think... Have I cleaned this one? I don't even know that I've cleaned this interior, you know that? So, but there's some dash pieces missing. So I've got to do that. And I just noticed this has got a Bostrom seat, which is kind of interesting. I'm going to have to turf that, but yeah, K2, ton of potential. Downside is this was bent, so I got to fix this. There's a little body dent there when it was drug around. The mirror brackets are rusted, not a big deal. I'm also going to take the cab extenders off this because I don't like them. That wing window, or pardon me, it's not a window, vent, it's rusted through, probably from being left open. It's also had shore power once upon a time, which is kind of neat. So I think I'd like to change that, put a new plug on and keep having shore power. But overall, I think the cab of K2 is in great shape. A lot of people don't want me to paint them, so I don't think we will right away. I started peeling the frame apart, which you guys have seen. You know, there is a healthy amount of rust jacking. So what we're going to do with this one is I'm going to finish peeling the suspension out and either sandblast or grind down or wire wheel or whatever the inside of the frame, get all the rust jacking out, and then yeah, put it back together. Put it back together, then sandblast it and paint it. Now the insert comes up to here, which is good. So if I take all the rust jacking out, I should be able to put that insert back in, or I'll just get another insert and drill holes because they're already there. But you know, if the rust jacking is just in the flanges, being that it's not rusted right through, I think we'll be fine doing that. So you know, because a lot of trucks, you don't need to have, well, I mean, it's a 1/4-inch frame rail, but I was going to say you don't need to have an insert. And that's one thing I really like about the US trucks is a lot of them don't have inserts, so you don't have that issue. Or they're Arizona trucks and they don't have that issue. So this side, a little bit better, but you can see this vent window is rusted as well. So that needs to be changed, which means, you know, doing hucks. This backup light was hit, so I got some cab damage here that needs to be repaired, which is a stinker. That bracket needs to be repaired. You know, we got some bubbling in the paint, some corrosion with the aluminum panel. The other side of this panel is rusted. This side's actually not bad, and when I say rusted, I mean corroded. But the biggest problem with this one, we need an engine. K2 needs an engine. Where's your engine, K2? So that's the only reason why K2 hasn't had a lot of work yet, because, you know, you got to source the engine first. And that's its lifeblood. So, oh, hey, there's the sticker. Wonder if I can tell what 2000 and something was the last time it was 2000 single digit. Last inspection sticker. But yeah, so anyways, we got to fix that. A little bit of cab work to do. Paint looks good. It's nice that the rivets aren't rusting, but this truck has been painted before because it's green underneath. Overall, cab looks great. It's in pretty dang good shape. You know, we do have some rusting down here as per usual, but it's not bad. So that's why I think K2 needs to be saved. And some have said I should rob these parts for Kenny, but they're K2's parts. And if that engine that I found, if they'll sell it to me for a reasonable amount, it's like a 440 horse or 460. They said 460, but I'm betting it's probably a 440 horse Reman Big Cam 4, which is the same engine that's in Kenny, and it'll just drop right in, and it only has about a year on a rebuild, so before they park the truck. It's actually currently in a Western Star, so So yeah, that's what we're waiting on there. But K2, it's a lot of work, but totally worth it. And you know, people say I should take the cab off K2, put it onto Smokey, but I don't. The problem with doing that, and this is my issue, the problem with taking the big cab off, and don't get me wrong, I love that big cab, which is why we're saving that. But when you look back here, you know, you've got cab suspension you need to mount, you got exhaust brackets, whereas right now, like, I don't even have to take these off the frame because there's no rust jacking. Like, you know what? Smokey is good, except for the smoke damage inside and the burnt parts on the outside. And the fact that he's got a 60 series and this electronic engine, it's got all the guts in the cab. So it's got all the wiring, it's got the throttle pedal, all that stuff that, you know, that K2 doesn't have. So to just swap the cab, you know, then I basically got the dash and swap that. I got to swap throttle pedals, and, you know, this guy looks a lot better than he did, but sadly, sadly, the interior needs more work than the other two. So big time work. But you know, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we're gonna get a good engine in the other ones, so that, you know, we can drive them up and down the road, and they're reliable and nicer to drive and all the rest of it. But I don't see the point in taking this cab off when we're gonna save it. So, but the cab requires a ton of work, just a ton of work. So anyways, and then in the shop, we've got Stubby. So Stubby has a blown transmission. He has a 13-speed. He was parked in 2005 due to the transmission, which blows my mind. He's got an N14 430 horse again, but he's got wear and tear from being parked under the trees. So you can see the corrosion got to the steel rivets. So a bunch of them are rusted. Some corrosion up there under the aluminum cap. We started pulling off the wide load mirror brackets. You can see where the original stripes were that they just, you know, mounted over top of. So we're gonna fill these with rivets to plug the holes. We're gonna pull that one off. And of course, it's got the one-piece windshield with the 3 wipers, which I love. But, and I just did the wiring harness on this one. So the next thing to do to the Stubby is put the wiring harness back in, see how it runs. Hopefully it runs. Hopefully that's my issue, to make the throttle pedal work, because that's what the problem was before. You know, and if we look inside, everything is there. You know, is it perfect? No. But we've got a ton of potential here, like really a cleanup. Of course, it's got the usual Peterbilt, you know, windshield leak where the piece on the top windshield gets water damaged and that. So we'll have to do the same thing that we do to low and slow. But it's a high content truck. It's got, what's that got? It's got a traction equalizer. Oh, shifted any speeds. So it's got the interlock, one locking diff, suspension dump, high content. Like I say, it's got lots of switches. It's got, yeah, there's just a ton of stuff. And it's an N14, which is a workhorse. So the engine sounds good. Door doesn't sound so good because there's parts missing inside of it, or they're rusted or whatever. So Stubby, I want to take this deck off because I don't like it. It's skookum. I like the idea of having a 5th wheel mount and still a deck, but let's face it, it's ugly. It's ugly and I don't like it. And I got a bit of a mess going on here, but if you look at the back, the one thing that I want to keep is he's got this big steel plate for towing. You know, that's like a half-inch plate. That plate alone, I can only imagine what that weighs. But, you know, you can have hitch attachments there to tow whatever as a bumper pull, which I think is handier than heck. So Stubby is going to stay a short tractor. We're not going to modify him. He's going to stay short. If I do anything, I'll put a deck on him. Maybe even that deck that I bought, that I put on Kenny. But I like the idea of having a fifth wheel mount because it is a tractor. We can pull a trailer. So I think this is a perfect candidate for a newer style deck that you could say put a little smart car up here if you wanted to, you know, have an RV puller and have a fifth wheel mount back here that goes right to the back. So same style deck, but we're not stretching them. No, it's not my plan. But I do have to fix this cab air suspension, and for what I understand, the Pete cab air suspension could be a little bit of a pain in the butt. So yeah, that's Stubby. And you know, I just love the fact that he was ordered new this way and everything is original. He's got the Pete aluminum wheels on the back. You know, he's got the aero deflector, he's got spotlights, he's got beacon lights, backup lights. Like, he's got a lot of stuff. So I just think it's fantastic. But and if this harness works to where he starts and the throttle works so that it can be driven, then it's going to be a priority to get the transmission swapped out. The reason why I haven't jumped on getting the transmission done yet is because he's not driving properly, as far as, you know, when your electronics don't work, when your throttle doesn't work, when your cruise doesn't work. Fixing the transmission is a moot point, because without a transmission, the rest just doesn't matter. But so that's what's happening with Stubby, and that's why he's still in here, because we're doing the harness. So that'll be coming very, very soon. And also, last but certainly not least, we've got Duke Kaboom. The Duke. Of course, Duke, he's an ex-oil field truck. He's got a wet kit, very low kilometers. He's only got 350,000 kilometers, which is probably around like like maybe 250,000 miles roughly, 260, 280 maybe. So low kilometers, high hours, but I don't know how many hours. I mean, could be 20,000 hours, could be 30,000 hours, could be 40, but I doubt it. Biggest problem is, of course, I put a hole in the block. When I got him, I knew it needed one hole done. I thought I could make it home, and that was a huge mistake, because when whatever let go, poked a hole in the side of the block, so now the block is toast. But the good thing is, the head is there, and you know, this is something in my plans, is to pull the head off, or at least pull the valve cover off and check this before I pull it out, because everybody's telling me I should keep them blue and I should keep a C13 in here. So, you know, I was kind of leaning to a C15, and I'm still going to go look at some trucks with C15s that I might be able to get a good engine out of and use as a donor chassis. But I'm leaning towards keeping them as a C13 now. And with everybody's comments, I'm leaning to keeping them blue because it's easy. Blue is my least favorite color, but you know, the paint is good here, the paint is good there. So like Dad said, you could touch up the blue on this truck on the tail end. I could even touch it up under here, and it's very little work. If I change the color to red or whatever, I mean, I love red, but it's going to be a lot more work. So yeah. And if we look down here, I'll just stick you guys up in there. There's the hole. Hope you guys can see it, but yeah. So I may have sourced another engine as well, a C13 engine that I could use for the block. So we might be just rebuilding it, but yeah, I really like this truck. It's a 2006 378 set forward. It's in good shape because of the fact that it hasn't been used a lot. Now this has got 22.5 tires on it. So this is the one I'm thinking, put the 24.5s off Smokey on. And I can't believe that I didn't realize that. And see, the problem with this one too, is you can see that the studs aren't sticking out a whole bunch. So it doesn't have studs for aluminum wheels. So to put aluminum wheels on this one, I'm gonna have to replace all the studs, which isn't a huge deal. It's just time and money. Do you do that to this one, or do you do it to, you know, another one, or do you buy aluminum wheels and save? So I'll probably put those white wheels on here just to save money to begin with. But eventually my plan is to put aluminum wheels on them. I'm going to put a stripe on the side. I would like to do, if I'm going to keep the chassis blue, I'll do a big blue band, maybe with a slash cut, kind of like the old school. The ROPS cab is coming off. Now this was manufactured by General. There is a serial number, so if anyone would like to buy it, it's for sale. I don't know what it's worth, but it's for sale. I'm thinking 3,500 bucks. 3,500 bucks Canadian, and you can have rollover protection. So, and the thing that makes it worth the most is that serial number right there. And it's got the chain hangers mounted to it, so that's handy. But, you know, the back end of the frame, it's rusty. Need to clean it up. Probably keep this slider, sandblast it, paint it. I'll peel this ramp thingy off, paint it all up, put some proper taillights on it, you know, and maybe I just clean it up, you know. I mean, it's kind of handy, so maybe I shouldn't bother cutting all that off. I'll just sandblast it, paint it, and do a light box, and you know, run what you brung. Don't try and reinvent the wheel, Mike. So got some red LED bulbs we'll put in there. Yeah, that's fun. I haven't cleaned the interior yet, so this is exactly how we got it. And you know, it's not bad. It's simple, needs a little bit of work. Like, I think there's a little bit of bulgy there from water damage, but not bad. I'd like to pull the floor mat out and yeah, clean underneath it. You know, just go through this one and make it a runner, because I think this one will be my well, I'd like to get a step deck to haul the other trucks around, so that's what I would like to do with this one. And the conventional is so much easier for me to get parts, and I'm going to put some, you know, stainless air breathers on it. I'm going to add another one on the other side because it just looks better with two. But in the future, I would like to move this fuel tank back so that it starts here, and which I think would work, because with that center fill, it would fill just behind the sleeper, and then put step boxes here, and then I can put some cab skirts on. And then if I wanted to, I could do straight pipes then too, because this elbow is corroded, and if the elbow's corroded, you might as well just put straight pipes on, right? I know, I thought it was a great idea too. It's got the Skookum wet kit, so I gotta replace, well, I don't know that I need the Skookum of a wet kit, so this is probably gonna come off. That, and it'll make it easier to take the ROPS cab off if I take this off, because right now I don't need it. You know what? And if I want to keep a wet kit, I don't need one this ginormous, so probably sell that too. How much? I don't know yet, but and here's my wiring harness. I fixed up the bad spots there, shrink tubed it and all that good stuff, put my Deutsch connectors in. I said it right that time, Deutsch. It's my Deutsch connectors. And I got to clean up my bench. I'm a little embarrassed by it, but you know what? When the weekend comes, it's go time. So, and here is all my panels from Smokey. And yeah, I've got this empty box from work. It's actually 2 boxes. And I'm going to package all this up, put it in the box so I can store it, so that when it comes time to put the interior back in, I can use these as templates to build it. I actually reached out to the day cab company because they expressed some interest in possibly helping me out, but they said that the panels are too far gone to use as templates. So they were asking if I could find an interior from a like truck to use as a template, which honestly, if I could find another interior, I might as well just use the other interior, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. So hopefully I can convince them to use it, because I mean, they're there just like this, you know. It's a little bit, it's brown, but anyways, so we'll see what happens there. I might just do it myself too, you know, go on Amazon, look for some quilted fabric and get some like, I don't know, 1/8 inch plywood or something like that, or cardboard is best, because then you can staple it, and just build them. It's just work. But he says that's just work. It's just a lot of work when you got 6 trucks. But yeah, that's it. that's it. What do you think, guys? Am I crazy? Yeah, kind of am. What am I doing with all these trucks? I don't really know. Honestly, I'm building them for fun because I enjoy it. You know, I'd like to build show trucks. Am I going to be able to get to show truck quality? I hope so, but we'll see what happens. You know, money is a big factor. The beauty is that I work at Peterbilt. Peterbilt's been really good to me. They help me with parts, so I get special pricing, which is fantastic, but everything is so darn expensive, it still costs. So that's why if you're, you know, saying, Mike, why aren't you working on this one? Why aren't you finishing Stubby? What are you doing with Stubby? What are you doing with K2? When are you going to do something with K2? What about Kenny? You got to stretch Kenny. The only reason why is we're limited on time and parts. But parts is the biggest thing because, you know, you got to get the right parts. And it's like, you know, it's just like this engine. I could go down, order up a long block, spend 40 grand, get an engine, and bam, boom, bing, it's in. But the problem is, I can't afford that right now. If I could, I'd just do it. Or if I was just gonna flip the truck and sell it, I would do it because it would have all that value. But I don't wanna sell the truck. Like, I'm not doing this to make money on the truck. I'm doing it because I wanna have a 378 truck that I can daily drive if I want, that I could take to shows, that I could pull a step deck with my Cabovers on it. If I find another Cabover project, I can go get it. You know, and maybe it's one of those things where I'll morph into, if I find a Cabover, I'll go get it, tidy it up a bit, and maybe I will sell them, or, you know, help guys like you, if you have a project or want to get a project, find it. You know, and I guess that would be the only thing I would sell one for. I don't know. I just don't want to sell any of them, so that's my problem. But yeah, so fixing it up for myself. We're on a budget, so that's why if I can find a used block, rebuild it myself. And let's face it, it's more content, it's more fun to do it yourself, and we'll get them running. So biggest things are the, you know, the hard things to do, like paint. You know, certainly I don't plan on painting Duke Kaboom. His body's in great shape, so he won't be getting painted anytime soon. I'd like to do a wrap, like get decals, wrap decals, and try doing it myself, because I think it would be fun to do and do like an old school paint job. And the thing is, if it doesn't work, I can peel it off and scrap it, and no crime, no foul. My KW K100s though, Aerodynes, I want to paint them, and I would like to paint one of them first because that's what got me started, especially Kenny. Kenny sitting over there. I mean, look at that cab. The big Aerodyne. Like, I just absolutely love that cab. But anyways, guys, it sounds like someone's calling me. That's Dad. So I'll have to call Dad and see how he's doing. But that's my plans. What do you think? So we got 6 trucks. We got Smokey. We got Low and Slow. Low and Slow probably needs the least amount of work because he's the workhorse that we rely on. We got K2 in the back there. We got Kenny. And of course we got Duke Kaboom in the shop, as well as Stubby. So anyways, guys, that's an update. What am I doing? A little bit of everything. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. It's very much appreciated. Leave a comment down below what your favorite truck is and what you think I should do with it. Because at the end of the day, it's very fluid. You know, it's like I was dead set on painting Duke Kaboom red. And you know what? After reading all the comments today, I'm like, maybe you guys are smarter to leave them blue, and we'll make a different one red because it's easier. And they don't all have to be red, although, you know, I do like red. So, but anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Much appreciated. Catch you in the next one. Peace.